So much for speaking to Family First.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So I understand that you have some great ideas for school lunches and that you're going to help us decode some of these terms that maybe some of us parents don't really quite understand. Like, what in the world is GMO and why are people concerned about it? And can you just tell us what the truth is about GMOs?
Yes, certainly. GMO stands for genetically modified organism, and really it's just another term that is used to describe a process that farmers and plant breeders have been doing for years, and that is taking a trait from one plant, a trait from another, and putting it together so you have a stronger plant. A plant that, on our farm at least, because we do use some GM varieties, we do use biotechnology, we found that we've been able to reduce the amount of pesticides and or fertilizers that when we need to apply, we've used less. We found last year during the drought here in the Midwest that we had that our plants still performed pretty well without water, and that's because they have been bred to withstand different weather pressures and disease pressures and all these sorts of things. Genetically modified varieties of seeds go through rigorous testing and have to meet all sorts of regulations, sometimes taking up to 10 years to actually be approved for the marketplace. So we have found on our farm that it's a good tool for us to use. It certainly doesn't define our success as farmers, but it's just one choice that we have when we're determining what we want to plant in our fields.
So it actually sounds like it makes the plant stronger and it actually makes it better for what the end product would become. Is that true?
Yes, it's making better at the how of producing the plant. So it's improving the methods that we use to actually grow that seed into a healthy plant and thus giving us a better crop. Yeah.
So this sounds like the GMO scare has been sort of a media thing. How about the difference between what organic versus organic or non-organic is, and why are people like so excited about organic or like what's the deal there?
Right. Well, again, organic, the term organic, non-organic, there's all sorts of food terms, local, sustainable, all natural, the list goes on. And all of these terms, the important thing to keep in mind, they're all describing the how of food production. So how something was raised, how something was cared for, and it's not a commentary on the nutritional value of that food. So products that are certified organic, that have that label on it, have come from farms that follow a very strict set of guidelines that have been laid out by the U.S. Department of Agriculture, talking about how a certain product or food can be raised, what types of inputs, so what types of pesticides and or fertilizers could or could not be used on that crop, things like that. And so, again, it kind of just speaks to the fact that there's all the discussion about food and farming these days, all of the choice that we have when we go into our supermarkets or go to the farmers markets. We have a lot of choice of the different types of food that we can choose from, not only what's on the shelf, but how it's been raised, what type of family farms they have come from.
Gotcha. Now, I know that you raise corn and soybeans, but can I ask you about gluten and what exactly that is and why people are freaked out about that?
Right. Gluten is, my sister actually follows a gluten-free diet for health reasons, just recently has done that. So we've kind of, in our family, had to come around and learn a little bit about that. And gluten is something that is found mostly in wheat-based products, and it's the thing that holds things together. So, like, that's what makes your bread stick together, stuff like that. And so certain people have an intolerance for that. From what I have read, beyond eliminating gluten from your diet doesn't seem to be a necessity unless it's for health purposes. So, for example, my sister had lots of digestive issues and things, and once she eliminated gluten, she was good to go. But for somebody who doesn't have those issues, it doesn't seem from what some of the things that I've read that it it matters that much. So again, it's all about a choice, making a choice. Yeah, so I'm sure I cleared that up greatly for you.
No, thank you. I never really understood exactly what gluten was, but I did know that people have intolerances. All right, so let's, instead of talking about food or the basic product first, let's talk about what kind of good foods people could choose for their kids' lunches and how to get their kids involved in what they're choosing.
Yeah, packing the school lunch or preparing an after-school snack, I think, is a great way to just talk to kids about health and nutrition and really talk about where food comes from. It doesn't come from the supermarket shelf. It comes from a farm family. And so for me, I have 2 young children, and so they get to make a choice of what goes into their school lunch. Now, they can't choose that, no, Mom, we don't want a vegetable today, but I will give them the choice of what type of vegetable would they want in their lunch. So, carrots, celery, sweet peppers, peas, something along that lines, and then would they like a dipping sauce to go with it? And so just letting them have choice in what goes into their lunchbox, I think, will go a long way into ensuring that lunch is consumed at school and it doesn't come back home again. And the efforts, in the school lunch program to bring more fruits and vegetables into schools, I think is a good effort, but it's something that has to be reinforced at home as well.
Yeah, when kids don't choose it and it's just put in front of them, they tend to it's easier to ignore unless they've made the choice, like you said, or if they've packed it themselves, even once they get older. I know that now that my kids are a little older, they do their own, and I love it because they do eat the whole thing. So what do you have a place where people could get some more ideas, or where can we get more information about this?
Yeah, of course. A good place to start, I think, is at fooddialogues.com, and that is the website for the U.S. Farmers and Ranchers, an organization with which I work once in a while. And it talks a lot about the food terminology we discussed this morning, in addition to answering a whole bunch of other questions that people might have about food and farming, as well as provides links directly to farm families from a variety of farms who produce food in a variety of manners.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for speaking to Family First today, and I look forward to posting this for everybody to understand our... Thank you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.